good? Okay, cool. Let's do it. All right, and we're live. Welcome back to the Dog Days podcast. Today we have two special guests. It is Michelle and Emma from Island Pet Source, and today's podcast is brought to you by their store, Island Pet Source, on Goldstream. Thanks for coming, ladies.
No problem. Thanks
for having us.
Yeah, so you guys are a mom and daughter team, family business.
That's right. Yeah.
How's that going?
Great most days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're a pretty good team, and I think it was an unexpected partnership or pairing at the store, but it's worked out extremely well.
How long have you guys been working and running the shop?
I've owned the business since 2014. I purchased it from the former owner in 2014 and took it on. And Emma worked at the store, but not in a management capacity at the time. She was more just someone on the floor. But she's finished her business degree at school and was deciding what to do with her life. And this seemed to be a pretty decent gig. So.
Yeah, I think that went back to, I think it was about 2012 that I joined in with the old owner. And like Michelle said, just in a very sort of part-time job while I was at school. But exactly when I finished school, it just seemed like a really good fit to put my degree to use and help out at the shop. And it's been great.
Where did you study?
I went to Camosun. So I did my bachelor's degree in human resources with my major in leadership and management.
Okay, so you're actually applying what you learned in your degree.
I have been able to. Yeah, I didn't know if I would be able to at first, but it comes up quite a lot that it comes really in handy working in a business, small business in particular. So it's been great to be able to use some of those skills for sure.
So you guys obviously must have different skill sets and different things you prioritize and things you gravitate to. How does that affect the daily management and running and operations of the business?
Well, mom's in charge, like in the family.
That's true.
Mom says. Well, I think I have more of the experience, the life skills part, maybe where Emma's got some book smarts. Maybe I learned how to do something by actually doing it in 20 years of my former career. So like Emma's using skills she learned in school, I'm using skills that I learned through a career doing something totally different. So when I see things that I know she is capable of, that she's learned about, I can delegate those to her and say, I'd like you to do these. There's some things that I'm just not ready for her to do because I know as her mom, she's not ready for them. But as a business owner, I still think that's something that I would like to maintain as a priority for me. But I think we've got it pretty fine-tuned. Some days she thinks I delegate too much, but that's where the mom boss thing is. It's fluid, like it's constantly changing whether I'm the mom hat or the boss hat. Am I asking her to do this because as her manager, I want it off my plate and I want her to do it, or am I a mom challenging my child to do better and move herself forward in her career? So, and we don't necessarily talk about those things. It just sort of happens.
It works nicely, I think, because I seem to have more of, I would say, the creative mind, and Mom is very much the business end and the business mind of the store. There's certain things that I can handle quite nicely, and there's things that she does that I don't want to touch at all. And I think marketing and online and social media is all part of that. So it's more creative and more, I just feel more comfortable doing those sorts of things, and that's, I would say, my forte when it comes to things.
And you guys have really grown the business, like, right? Oh, there's Kitty. He's part of the team.
Absolutely. That's all right.
So, so you guys have really grown the business in the last few years, right?
Yes.
What was your recipe for success for that? Because Vancouver Island is, I've seen a really collection of smaller to medium-sized businesses as opposed to a bigger market with corporations everywhere.
Right.
So what can you, tidbits or knowledge, what can you pass on to other people or even to me?
Yeah, what the store didn't have before was visibility, physical or online people didn't know we were there. And I say we because I worked for the owner for 2 years and 2.5 years before I owned it. And where the shop is, it's set back off the road. Even just 4 years ago, it wasn't as busy a neighborhood as it is now. There's been a lot of development, housing buildings have gone up. So it seemed to me that what it needed was to be more well known, and the easy, inexpensive way to do it was to bring rescue into it. And so I was plugged into a couple of different rescue organizations, dog rescue organizations. And so we started hosting rescue events and using their following to bring people to the store. And so that was the first way we did it when there was no budget. And then
Sorry, what type of rescue events, like what does that mean specifically? Like fundraising and...
yeah, what worked best was puppies in an X-pen. You put out online that you're going to have adoptable puppies at the event at the store Saturday between 1 and 3, and people come. So that was an easy way, and it was a win-win because the rescue group doesn't have a storefront or a brick and mortar to go to, so they had a little more visibility. The animals would have more visibility, and then it got the store a little bit more on the map too. To be honest, before Emma really got involved with the online marketing, the Facebook was up to me, and I'm the wrong generation for that. It needs someone younger. Yeah, so we didn't do much about that, not much on our website. It was really just word of mouth. And I have a big mouth. So, but once we got the rescue groups coming a little more regularly, and Emma got on board, she'd finished her degree, and then we got into the social media stuff. So for the first 2 years, I would say, we did inexpensive marketing efforts, a lot of word of mouth, a lot of events. We would take our store to the local dog park and advertise that we were going to be in the dog park and handing out food samples, and maybe ask a rep for a food company to come to the park. And so hit people who maybe didn't know where our store was, but go to the dog park. So we were doing those sorts of things. And then, yeah, Emma likes kitties. And then the store grew to the point where I had a little bit of an advertising budget, so I could do the more traditional, more expensive things.
Print.
Exactly. Print. A local TV station had a very affordable option for local small businesses, so I have a TV ad that's run for a little while. We tried some of these things. You might notice we're on bag dispensers in Langford.
I have noticed that. That's brilliant.
Well, and that was kind of a lucky shot of mine that really has been, that worked out great. That was just an idea I had, and I put forth to the city of Langford, and they said, yeah, sure, we hadn't thought of that. So get some stickers printed and do that.
Yeah, I noticed in downtown Victoria, I'm going to do this myself. If there's bag dispensers that have no advertising on them, like outside of Langford. So
Totally. Yeah, do that.
So did you notice like one specific stream of marketing that really helped, or was it a collection of every effort that you put forth?
It's hard to gauge unless you have a questionnaire that asks people, how did you find us? How did you hear about us? But over a couple of years doing it now, I think what is working best is keeping the advertising within the West Shore. I do get, actually, it's not me that gets noticed and identified in town. It's the dogs that are in my TV ad. My dogs get recognized, and people point and, oh, that's Doodle from the TV. But that's not my target market. People aren't going to drive from downtown Victoria out to the West Shore to buy a bag of dog food. It's, there's too many choices in town, and I totally get that. So keeping the advertising local. It's become a very pedestrian city. Langford is. There's the pretty cobblestone sidewalks, and there's grocery stores and banks, and you can get everything you want on foot now in Langford. And with all of these housing developments going up, having a poop bag dispenser with my name on it and garbage cans with my name on it, that's what's working. And we see new people in the store probably every day.
We do.
There's new faces.
It is. I think so many people are moving out to the West Shore now, and it is nice to see those people finding us. And we try to ask them, although we sometimes forget, how did you hear about us? And did someone tell you, how did you find our store? So I think Michelle's right that the advertising around the West Shore really does help for the people that are in the area. I think, again, my part is more of the online social media and advertising online. And I think that my hope, at least, is that will increase our reach, and that maybe those people who are in Victoria or Esquimalt or just outside that West Shore sort of perimeter will see us and be able to, make the trip. We've joked before that, if people are coming out to Costco, well, you're coming to Costco anyway. So, you should just take the 5-minute drive across the street there to see us. So I hope that we'll be able to just reach more people. And, I think it's a collaborative effort on the advertising, and every stream has its benefits. So
on the social media side, do you like, I've always been told that social media is best for storytelling, because that's how you captivate an audience, as opposed to just hammering them with product pictures or whatever.
It's a balance, I find. I've really done it I just have learned as I go with it, and I find that is true. I as much as I want to maybe promote a new product or tell someone about a sale we're having in the store, people love to see faces. They love to see whether it's our faces or dogs or something like that. They really connect to that. So it's sort of finding that balance between showing pictures of our staff pets or something fun we've been doing, but also introducing them to products and those sorts of things. So it's a bit of both, but it really is that balance of that.
I think if I can chime in there, you said something that is really the store it's a learn as you go. I think we've talked about my background, and that it isn't in retail at all. It was really learning as we go. I had an opportunity to work with the previous owner for a couple of years, see what he did well, see what he needed to do better, and get into the accounting side of things, which is where my background is in more of business administration type work. So I could see what he had done that hadn't worked, and he was so generous in letting me do that. And whatever idea I had and I wanted to try, he was always for it and said, let's see. I've never done that before, so let's see. So whether it was learning how to be a business owner or learning about marketing, it's always been, as we go, let's try something and see. And sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not as successful as we'd hoped, but we try and learn from those things and go a different direction that we think will work.
So Langford is, I'm new to the area. I moved here from Alberta at the beginning of this year, but there's construction everywhere. It feels like we're obviously riding that Vancouver wave of expansion. So that must have helped growing the store as well.
Absolutely.
You see new people every day.
It was lucky timing for me in taking on the business. The owner before did so much work being the new store that's set back off the road that nobody knew where it was. I don't think, despite my efforts now that all seem to be working and we're doing very well, if I had had the first 5 years, it would have been a tough go for us too. So it's just really fortunate that we're in this growing community, and that there's new housing buildings on all 4 sides of us. So that's just good luck.
To take it back, you said the first thing you did for marketing was the free stuff, the partnering with rescues, and you haven't lost sight of that.
Oh, no.
2 years. You're doing something on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
We invited the Humane Society to come, and Penny is hoping that she'll have some kittens that still are waiting for their forever home, and she's going to come to the store. But we are donating all of our nail trim proceeds on Saturday to the Humane Society. They rarely put out a call for cash donations. They usually ask for foster homes or supplies. This one, they actually need a bit of cash in flux. So that's what we're going to do for them. It's where we started. It's what worked for us. I've had a passion for rescue long before I owned the store. I adopted probably 3 of my dogs before I owned the store even. And because of how the store came to be my business, I really like giving back and not losing sight, like you say, of where we started.
Has being a small business owner and working with your daughter, I mean, not everybody gets to do that with their life. Has that been a means of fulfillment and meaning in your life, or has it been just a pain in the butt? I'm sure it's a mix of both, but is it overall
Depends on the day.
positive? Like,
Yeah,
do you guys like what you do?
Yes.
Running your own shop.
We do.
Yes. I did the 9 to 5 for a long time, and it certainly paid the bills, and it taught me everything that I needed to know, or almost everything I needed to know about owning and running a business. I could see the potential for Emma that maybe she couldn't. I think Emma had more reservations about our business relationship than I did. I think for Emma, and you can touch on that, but working for her mom, that was going to be, an apron string, and she just wanted to go out on her own and be independent and have, this job and career, and she's with mom.
And this is your first full-time job after graduation.
It was. I mean, I worked full-time during the summers while I was at school, but I finished school and fresh out of Camosa, and I really thought I should be doing something better or something different, or, really put my degree to use and be doing maybe a human resources job. But it presented itself. I mean, the timing, I think, was perfect. I finished school, I think it was April of 2014, and that was right when Mom purchased the business. So it did seem to me kind of like the easy way out, but I knew it was going to be still fulfilling. I could tell there was potential there. So I'm still here. So it has worked out very nicely. It's been a really good opportunity to learn about small business and ownership and all of the different things that go into it day to day that I didn't realize, all the things that Mom takes care of.
You're probably learning a lot more with this job
I am.
than you would with a human resource.
Yes, and it took me longer maybe than it should have to realize that. But
that's the rebellious child.
Yeah.
Though, and I got that, and what I'd said to her was, "You are the right hand of this business. You can't give me 2 weeks notice. You have to give me 6 months notice, because I'll need to hire the right person." So I knew I had 6 months to, if she were gonna go, to change her mind.
Do you still live with Mom at home?
No, no, we don't live together.
That would probably be.
That'd be too
It
much.
was for a little bit, but no, I just realized that it presented itself with so many opportunities, and that, okay, if I were to leave and do something different, what would be the benefit to that? And I really couldn't think of anything. The job flexibility's there. I love my coworkers. I love what we do. I love that we have a platform to help rescue organizations the way we do. So there's so many benefits to it that I really didn't see any reason to look for something different.
And the fact when something that you create starts to work and progress and build momentum, I mean, that's intoxicating.
It is.
Yeah.
I see it every day, especially again with online presence, and it's so exciting to us, both of us, when we see something that we've shared or something that we've done has been so engaging and people really care about it. It is sort of an intoxicating thing that you want to keep going, and okay, well, if we could do that, what else can we do? And you really want to see that through.
What are the big? Do you guys have big plans for the future, or just do you want to stay consistent? And
Yeah, I do. I'm not a gambling person. So when I was offered this opportunity, I had enough sense to know that this was what I should be doing, and not play it too safe by staying with my desk job. That I should do this, as scary as it was, and I had no idea really what I was doing. That was something I had to get past and take the jump. And the store, we renovated the store with the help of the landlord, because the former store was twice the size. It was actually more than 4,000 square feet, and that was part of the problem. Was the rent was just unaffordable for how the store was performing. So we needed a smaller space, smaller rent, and 4 years later, I wish I'd had just a little bit more store, but I was only considering the rent payment and thinking, well, if I have it this size, it's totally affordable and I can do it. But so do I want to go bigger? I would be nervous about maybe losing the momentum that we've got going now, because I can't be in two places. And we still do have customers that come to the store because I work there. Not because I own it, but because they know when they come into the store Monday through Friday and some Saturdays that they're going to see me here. They've built up a relationship, a rapport, and that's where they want to go for their pets' food and supplies. And if there was a second store, that's lost. And I would be concerned that would have a negative impact.
What about one store, but making just moving to a bigger space in the neighborhood, or are you guys pretty set on your space you have now? It's so central.
It is central, and we've considered it for sure. I just don't know, because we've been there now coming on almost 10 years. I think the people that do know we're there, if we were to move, I don't know if they would know that we've moved or think
It's a little
we've
bit
closed up shop.
It's a little bit even of like a betrayal to some
people. And the landlord, I've known him since I was 10 or 11. I used to go to school with his daughter. So even that relationship is almost like a family one, that I have a great landlord, and anything I need, he's there. So to move and start that all over again, I think we're happy. We do get asked a lot about bigger stores, second store, franchise, and at my age and only having been doing this for 4 years, I think I'm good for right now.
Yeah, that's good.
Stay the course.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to hold water, not hold water, but what am I trying to say? Like hold your pattern and just and coast, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier before we started that you had your TV commercial that you did for the business, but you had another reality TV.
Oh,
you got to tell me that story.
So there was a show. You were 15, so it's like
was.
10.
It was a while ago.
How
12 years
old are you
ago.
now?
I'm 26.
Yeah. It was a show called Crash Test Mommy, and my sister signed us up for it. And the premise of the show was a very busy, overworked mom gets a well-meaning family member or friend to come into her life and live in the house for 2 days just to see how hard it is. And so she signed us up for this, more so for the getaway. Like my sister, she did have 4 kids, and one was under 1 years old, and she wanted a holiday. So she got a couple days at a bed and breakfast and lunch and pedicures, and I moved into the house. So it was interesting to see. It was 48 hours with a hip mic and cameras on me, even overnight when I'd have to get one of my nieces up and asleep to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, or she'd wee the bed. I would have to get her up and do all, and the person's there
24/7.
Yeah,
They don't leave.
No, they don't leave. No. And then to see it all come together in a 45-minute show, how they'd cut and paste things that had happened, that the way it aired, that didn't happen. It just, I've seen behind the wizard's cloak now, and I know what reality TV show is all about. And it was still a super fun thing to do. And we
laugh about it now.
Yeah, you got to come the
did.
next day. I don't know if they thought because I was starting to crack up, or if you were always intended to come, but
lend a hand, I think.
Yeah. It was lots of fun. And my nieces still remember it. My nephew, not so much, because he wasn't very old, but my nieces still remember how much fun that was when Auntie came and we filmed the TV show. Yeah. So, and it's not available online. You can't download it anywhere.
We've
looked. You'll never find it. It's on a DVD in my crawl space somewhere. So
We had Kelsey on your groomer a few weeks ago, and she actually recommended to talk to you guys, so that's cool. But you guys do the grooming and the nail trimming and all that stuff. But what about your staff? Are they all rescue people, or Kelsey's a big rescue community person?
Well, it speaks highly about Island Pet Source as a brand, I think, because when I took over as the new owner, I retained actually all 3. Tim had 3 groomers working at the time. All 3 girls stayed. We hired a couple other ones who have moved on to do totally different things, and one opened up her own shop. but to keep those staff on I took it as a real win that we didn't have to start all over with staff. They are all big into rescue. One of the groomers, her daughter works up front as a cashier, as a salesperson. So it's not just us that's the family part of the business. It extends into the grooming shop too. That we've got a 17-year-old girl who's starting her first job at Island Pet Source. We all have dogs and cats. We're all into rescue. It's a really nice team. We have very little staff turnover. I think the clientele as well as the management team, we just all get along. Like we can go out for dinner and there's no.
Have you had staff, like when I used to have my restaurant, it was such a small space for a restaurant. It was probably about the same size as your store. So imagine a 30-seat restaurant, like one room with a bar in the corner, and then this like kitchen that should be on a submarine. Just tight kitchen. And you had two cooks right next to each other, and you had the burners going with the fire right behind them, and they would turn from one side to the other to cook.
Oh my gosh.
And then you had a dishwasher right there too, and then the food was passed on to the server, and it was all in this little tight space. And we'd have staff come through, and most of the staff kind of jived with each other, but once in a while you had that personality that, like right away, you can tell doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Has that happened to you guys as well? Like,
it has. It's more of an issue in the grooming shop than it is up at the front of the store, because we're not a submarine kitchen at the front. We've got, the cat toy section in the back if someone needs a bit of fresh air or whatever. But I am aware that the grooming shop is a little tight. That's one area that I do wish we had expanded before we got the store up and running. I don't think we were expecting to be as successful as we are, and to have the demand from people in the community for our grooming services. They have an extremely good reputation, and while the front end doesn't have people driving from Victoria to buy their dog food, we do have people driving from Victoria and Saanich and
Bay
to see these groomers.
See the groomers. They follow their groomers no matter where they go, like hairdressers.
Like I was going to say.
You follow them around. So it is some days, especially on a hot day like today, it is tight back there, and it would be nice if we could accommodate more clients, but Kelsey looks after that part of things, and she knows when to say, nope, we're not working 4 groomers back there today, we can only do 3. And she'll explain it to me, and Kelsey and I have a good relationship too. I actually Kelsey had gone to work somewhere else, and then the business opportunity came to me, and I called her up and said, are you happy where you're at? Maybe you'd like to consider coming back to Island Pet Source. And she, at the time, was ready to move on from that other position. So timing was great, and she was more than happy to come back. So I am extremely grateful to have someone who understands grooming and what the groomers need back there. Because I admit it's one part of the business where I let the professional look after it. It's ultimately, I guess it's my responsibility, but it's not one that I have to be involved with very often, because Kelsey does a great job. She manages the grooming shop back there. Yeah, it is part of the business. They're employees, but I do very little back there. It's sort of, if she gets in a situation where she needs the boss involved, she'll come to me, and she and I will decide what we're going to do. But the day-to-day stuff, I have almost no involvement, which I love. Yeah.
You guys have that contest you're doing on social media?
Oh, yeah.
We do, yeah. So we, again, as we've grown online, we've tried to do some more interesting things. So all summer long, we have a contest going on. That's our Catch the Cube contest. I don't know, it was about a month ago you got your new car?
I bought a used car, but a new to me car. The car I was driving, it had some decals in the windows, but the body was all just paint color, and it was an older car, higher mileage, and was starting to get expensive in the shop, in the mechanic shop. So I just went to look, and there's this little red funky Nissan Cube there, and the price was right. The toaster. Exactly. It's 5 years old, very low kilometers, and everything. Once I inquired, like dominoes, just it all fell into place. Again, an opportunity, right place, right time, got to recognize it. And so I jumped on it and decided to go big with the deckling. So you can't miss me in traffic.
You'll see us anywhere.
Yeah. It's red with paw prints. And then the back window has my own dogs, all of the logos that I've used in all the other marketing things. It's like branding now. So I've done enough over the years with pictures and logos. So I've used it all, tried to keep it all the same. And so the car is no exception. The car looks like the garbage cans or the bus shelters, and it's all the same. So we thought, well, what could we do that was kind of fun and run a summer contest, since there's this little red toaster that you can't miss in traffic. So I admit to copying the idea off a local radio station, but it is spot the car and take a picture, and you're entered to win weekly prizes and then a big grand prize at the end of the summer. And only my contest isn't that you win the car at the end of the summer.
We're not giving away a car.
Keeping the car. But Emma's done all of the social media stuff with the car, and
it's been fun. We've had people that, I think someone saw Michelle driving in the Starbucks drive-through. Yeah. We've had people spot us at Thetis Lake, Beaver Lake. It's been really interesting to see where people see us and that they recognize us. It is hard to miss.
I was downtown. Well, this one I remembered because I could hear a child yelling downtown on like Pandora Street or something. And so I look over and my dog's hanging his head out the window. So I thought he was commenting about Larry. And I look and I roll the window down to wave, and he's yelling, "Catch the cube, catch the cube, catch the cube." Yeah. So he's heard that on the radio commercial maybe or something, but right in downtown. So again, 12-year-old boy, not really my target market, but it shows that it's working anyways if he's recognized the car.
We thought if we put it on our radio ad for the summer that it would also extend and hopefully get some people in Victoria to look out for us. So it's a pretty catchy ad.
Yeah. I think our store is a ways off from being affected. We still hear regularly that people like that we talk to them. Apparently that's not a thing at every store you go into. They're not greeted at the counter. No one comes over to ask if they need help. They don't have an answer. If you can nail someone down to ask a question, no one knows anything. The fact that we are approachable and knowledgeable, people tell us this is great. Like, this is why we come here, because we can ask you questions that aren't even always food and supply oriented. They can be training related, and we're not a training facility, but we know enough about animals that we can offer advice, even a little bit of health, knowledge, not to in any way take away from a veterinarian. But again, because we all have dogs and cats, we've all seen a lot of different things and can talk about our own experiences. And that goes a long way still for people. And you're not going to get that off an online order service. So, I mean, it's convenient, sure, but I think because the dog or cat is a living, breathing thing, at some point or another, you're going to need advice. That Google is not the answer for everything, and a pet professional like us is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks, ladies. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Cool. So, everybody check out Island Pet Stores on Gulfstream in Langford for all your pet needs.
Thanks.
Yes.
And this Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday the 21st. Yeah. This Saturday, all the proceeds from nail trims that day go to the Victoria Humane Society. And I should also mention, it's not just the store that's kicking in, it's the groomers as well. They've decided to give up their commissions on nail trims for the day. So we often do things this way where the groomers are going to go in and so the store backs them and matches whatever proceeds come through for the nail trims. So.
Cool. And we should be there too. I have a conflicting schedule that I just realized, but I think I'll be able to send Tam.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Yeah, good. No, it should be lots of fun with the social media shares.
Yeah.
There have been many views, so we're hoping it'll be a real success for them.
Cool. Well, thanks, ladies. Thanks for coming out tonight, and thanks for listening today. If you like the show, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends. But whatever you do, stay positive. We'll see you next week.